Hey guys, welcome back. It's your brother in Christ, Weston. Thanks for joining me today. So today's article comes out of Harbinger's Daily. Let's get into it. Okay, so there's been a lot of things that's been happening, let's say just popping off over between Israel and Iran. And it just feels like that is the the melting pot waiting to explode, the proverbial bomb with no fuse that I talk about that's just sitting there just flashing. If I can have an animation of a bomb with no fuse, and it's just like it's not going kaboom because the Lord's grace and waiting for things to line up before it just literally does it. Okay, so let's read. It says here, Israel sends message in the form of a sonic boom over Beirut, as U.S. pressures emboldens Iran's access of evil. It says here, Times of Israel reported that earlier today, Israeli jets set off sonic booms in Beirut, just as Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah was set to start delivering his fiery speech, once again threatening the world's one and only Jewish state. Israeli warplanes broke the sound barrier over Beirut just ahead of pugnacious speech by Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah on Tuesday afternoon, as northern residents were told to stay close to bomb shelters amid a series of cross-border attacks from Lebanon. The Times of Israel detailed at the beginning of his televised address on Tuesday to mark the one-week anniversary of Shukur's death. Nasrallah charged that the sonic booms set off by Israeli planes flying low over Beirut were intended as a provocation. The loud boom sent residents rushing to open their windows to prevent the glass from shattering or standing on their balconies to get a glimpse of the planes flying over. The report continued. Clearly, this was a message from Israel. There has been talks of Hezbollah striking Israel prior to Iran's promised attack. If Hezbollah tries to attack Israel in some major way, Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, where Nasrallah, this is different now. Nasrallah routinely hides. Maybe that's supposed to be Nasrallah, but it says Nasrallah here. Routinely hides will be on the table. Israeli leaders, both military and political, have said for years, if Lebanon is hosting Hezbollah, if Hezbollah has essentially built a state within a state, Lebanon will pay a price, hence sonic booms over Beirut. Additionally, 5 Hezbollah terrorist operatives were taken out in an Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon today, and Hezbollah fired dozens of rockets at the Galilee region of the Golan Heights. It is a high-intensity war that's gone on since October 8th between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. And then it talks about awaiting the attack, offense or defense. They're waiting for the Iranian attack if they're going to strike back. Iran reportedly told diplomats that they're going to strike Israel, or at least they will try, and is that moment upon us? Some have suggested the regime will wait until the 9th of Av, a significant day on the Jewish calendar. This was a day a few hundred years apart when both Jewish temples were destroyed, that's right, and Jewish people were exiled from the land of Israel. First, the Babylonians destroyed Solomon's temple. Later, in 70 AD, the Romans, led by General Titus, destroyed the second temple, often referred to as Herod's temple, where Jesus taught and chased out the money changers. Let's see. We don't know if this Iranian attack is coming, but sitting in the United States, it has been a difficult watching this unfold. Call me crazy. If someone was planning to strike you, strike them first before they get a chance. Of course, that's what anybody, I would say, military leader would do. Strike before getting hit first. It's been maddening seeing Israel have to sit around and wait for an Iranian attack before they can respond. The reason for this is that the current administration, that's because of the current admin. That's not political, that's a fact. Goes on, talks about Israel's not going to stand pat. It's not going to stand pat once Iran pushes the trigger, he stressed during our discussion. 5 days after April 13th attack, Israel responded in a very limited way with one airstrike near Iranian nuclear facility. Talks about the 6-day war, the current admin tying Israel hands, pretty much putting Israel in a bind where they can't defend themselves, or they have to wait to be hit before they can be preemptive. Let's see. Hamas names Sinwar top leader. I'm not sure who that is. Meanwhile, demonic death cult known as Hamas, Osama bin Laden of Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, ascended, more accurately descended to the top leadership post, replacing the not so dearly departed Ismail Haniyeh, who was taken out in Tehran last week. Sinwar, a barbaric butcher, yikes, is the face of October 7th. If you're following Hamas, as I have since the inception, you shouldn't be surprised. They're doubling down. There's no turning back. Hamas is a genocidal jihadist organization that exists to destroy Israel. And then it talks about praying for Israel. Right now, Israel could use a few good friends. It goes without saying, as Christians, we must try to fulfill the biblical mandate of blessing the people of Israel, which we always do, assisting the people of Israel laid out in Genesis 12, verse 3. Israel needs to rely on God, the God of Israel, right? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I ask you to join me in prayer, praying for Israel's leaders, for them to have the wisdom of Solomon, spines of steel and boldness as the courage to do what is right. All this to say, what is it? My son is doing something he shouldn't be doing now, and I'm watching it. Yeah, this is where we're getting into the place where, we start talking about Gog, Magog, Ezekiel 37:38 or 37:38 or 38:39, and where Israel will call out to Lord. Matthew 23. Jesus said, I wanted to come to you as a mother, as a hen gathers her chicks, but you would not have me. So you will not see me till you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So Israel will be put in a tight spot. And then I believe that's when Israel will have to, the Antichrist will have to start coming after Israel, or this will develop for the Antichrist and the system to show up where the Antichrist will fool and deceive Israel, which is, I think, is going to happen. They'll say that he's the savior, then he will turn on them. This is tribulation, great tribulation type stuff. And then they will realize he's not the Messiah, he's a false Messiah, and they will cry out for Jesus finally. And this will happen all within I would suggest or think a World War III type of situation, where we have a new world order, a new world government, one world government, one religion, one world currency, CBDCs, Antichrist is showing up, the nations have given power to the Antichrist, he'll perform signs and miracles, they'll say Christianity is false, so on and so forth, right? And it's because they have to believe on Jesus. Everybody has to believe on Jesus to be saved. So end times discussion here and about what's going to happen, because if something significant happens to Israel, don't forget God is on his throne and Israel will remain, and that's where the central hub will be. New Jerusalem, God's kingdom is going to sit right there. It's like the headquarters is Israel. That's where it's going to be. So if that's the case, it begs the question that begs the attention of every believer, that you would pay attention to what's happening. Even if Israel's acting like a harlot, even if they're doing wrong, God will reprimand them, God will send judgment, but he will keep them because he has always kept them, and he will continue to keep them, and Bible prophecy will still be fulfilled. So that should go without saying. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you think. What's going to happen with Israel? We should be praying for them. I mean, if something happens over there? It wouldn't even surprise me, because it's election year, right? And something always seems to pop off during an election year. We have assassination attempts. We have current crisis in the markets. The markets look like they're just crumbling. UFOs, aliens, talks of seeing things in the sky. I was looking at an article earlier talking about structures, crazy structures in the sky. And then you have, then something pops up, then here comes the next thing. Now we have the tensions between Israel and Iran flaring up again. We may have what Isaiah 17 happened. Damascus becomes a waste overnight. That's another prophecy to happen. Russia and Ukraine are that thing's getting hotter for sure. And it should be no surprise that what's happening all over the world, and it's these birth pangs, right? A woman giving birth, these birth pangs, as the contractions get shorter and shorter and shorter, the pain kicks up, the intensity kicks up, and that means things are like snowballing for the birth of a child, for the birth of Israel to come into the fold. And that when that happens, this is what they call it like the ring of fire, when a woman's about to give birth. And what is it they have? It's like right by the cervix. They feel like it's a ring of fire, and then they give birth. And so it's gonna get super heated, super fiery. God's wrath is gonna be poured out. I mean, I can't imagine all the things that are gonna happen. I don't believe it's just spiritual in nature. I believe it's physically going to happen. And it has always been that way. Physically, it's going to show up. The veil, the removal of the veil, the spiritual coming into the physical, both seeing each other at the same time. And you're gonna just like think it's a sci-fi movie. And that's what I believe is gonna happen. And anything that happens with Israel, anybody who pokes at Israel, God is not only attentively watching every single believer, every single thing that's going on, but that is a God allowing things to happen because Bible prophecy is coming to pass. And if you look at everything else that's happening, then you start to get this bigger picture of, oh man, is this thing about to explode? Are we about to see this prophecy, this prophecy, this prophecy? Are we about to get the trumpets, the bowls, the seals, the trumpets, the bowls, the vials? Are we about to see the rapture happen? Is Antichrist about to show up? Are aliens about to have a full-on contact? We're about to see that. Or is World War III about to start? Are money and dimes and nickels and hard currency going to be going away? We're going to move to a central banking digital currency, mark of the beast type stuff, a new world order. It's all there. It's all there. So anyways, guys, just continue to pay attention, pray for Israel. And yeah, anyways, that's the video. If you like the video, be sure to like the video. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. I could desperately use it. Not desperately, but I could definitely need it because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's a goal of mine. I can get there by God's grace. Anyways, guys, that's the video. I'll see you in the next one.